Hi, Walter.
Hi, Michel. Nice to see you.
You know what I sometimes think? If I would have been a little older, I mean, as a human, and you a bit younger, we could have easily met in the Bibliothèque Nationale.
Absolutely. I was there quite often during my time in Paris. After the Nazis had forced me to leave Berlin, this library on Rue de Richelieu was such a great place, and it would have been fantastic to talk to you there about architecture, aesthetics, and modernity.
Did you know that we happen to have a mutual friend, Pierre Klusowski?
Really? Back in the 1930s, Pierre helped me to translate some of my articles from German into French, including the artwork essay. How did you come to know him?
In the 1950s, he became famous as a writer while continuing to translate stuff from German into French. For example, the diaries of Paul Klee, Wittgenstein, and Nietzsche in particular. Obviously, he was also the one who published Living Currency in 1970, a really outstanding theoretical piece, le plus haut livre de notre époque.
That's so great. Klosowski, you really knew him. Uh, but there is another person that ties us together, a famous poet that we both were interested in.
You mean Flaubert or perhaps Roussel?
No, no, uh, Charles Baudelaire.
Baudelaire? Uh, I'm sorry. I guess I'm not sure what you are referring to.
Well, there is one of your late texts, What is Enlightenment, where you speak about Baudelaire, about modernity, about the flaneur and the dandy. I almost expected you would also talk about the arcades.
Ah, that one. Well, originally, I wanted to say something about Immanuel Kant. 1984 was the bicentenary of Kant's publication concerning the question what is enlightenment. And in this context, they were planning a conference on the role of philosophy, criticism, and history.
How did you then end up with Baudelaire?
Oh, I'm not sure about it. For me, Kant is really the beginning of modern philosophy. In his answer concerning the question of enlightenment, he underscored the strictly contemporary importance of philosophical thought. It is in the reflection on today as difference in history and as motive for a particular philosophical task that the novelty of Kant's texts appears to me to lie.
Philosophy as criticism, and criticism as a history of the present. I guess I know what you mean. Uh, in fact, I think I had something similar in mind when I wrote that the work of the historian is directed towards a consciousness of the present which explodes the continuum, uh, to bring about the consolidation of experience with history, which is original for every present is the task of historical materialism.
Oh, yeah. We are somewhat close in this respect, despite the fact that I continue to have my problems with historical materialism. But to return to your question, I bring up Baudelaire in this connection because his philosophical attitude towards the 19th century seems to be similarly modern as Kant's attitude towards the 18th century.
Because Baudelaire also had a sense of the strictly contemporary nature of his thinking, because he was aware of modernity as a discontinuity, as a break with tradition, a feeling of novelty, of vertigo in the face of the passing moment?
Yes, but the point is not just to observe the famous all that is solid melts into air. The crucial point is to develop a specific attitude vis-à-vis this process. The high value of the present is indissociable from a desperate eagerness to imagine it otherwise than it is, and to transform it.
Imagination, or simply images, or as I would put it, dialectical images, then constitute the crucial starting point for analyzing and debating the discourse of modernity. In this sense, I probably follow Baudelaire when in the Arcades project I aim at demonstrating that the materialist presentation of history is essentially imagistic or bildhaft.
It is not just a matter of historiography. Hence Baudelaire. What is at stake is also a special kind of aesthetics or ethics. In this case, the asceticism of the dandy who makes of his body, his behavior, his feelings and passions, his very existence, a work of art.
But the question then becomes, why does he transform himself into a work of art? Perhaps it is because the dandy is forced to get out on the market and sell himself.
I guess I see this differently. But never mind. There are much more connecting thoughts between you and me than I ever expected.
Talking as puppets is an additional feature that we have in common. Theoretically, we could continue this at the Bibliothèque Nationale.
Unfortunately, the old one does not exist anymore, and the new is currently shut down. But theoretically, or imagistically, you're absolutely right.